Go to here.
Right now. Okay. Perfect. 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 All right, we're good to go.
Yay. The
I
only thing
know.
I can't see it in my I can't see you and I
Okay.
can't and I can't see it. I can see you now, but I can't see it in my Instagram like if I'm part of the IG live FY.
Perfect. I did hop on there, and then your live is active.
There's usually like a few seconds
It's
between.
like a little like a little delay, but let's go
Okay.
ahead and get
All right,
started.
let's do it.
Thank you, Luz, for joining us today. I know everyone hopping on is excited for what we have to share. Today, we are going to talk about down payment assistance, everything that you should know A through Z in regards to what that could look like for you guys as a first time buyer, different types of programs that you can take advantage of, and much
Hmm.
more. So, nobody better than Mrs. Lucian Core to go ahead and
Hey.
talk about that. So, thank you, Luz, for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Gio. Yeah, super excited to be here. I know we're trying to like nail down the whole tech
Yeah.
behind this whole like live version. So hopefully my viewers can view this as well. So yeah, so down payment assistance program, it's absolutely the topic, right? Especially in this time where the economy it's where it's at, where we need to save a little bit of money as much as we
Yes.
can. So the money that we do have, we don't want to spend it. So today we want to talk about what does down payment assistance look like for you as a first time home buyer, where to acquire for more information, and just I want to just share with everyone a little bit about how that process works and who is eligible for it. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So why don't we go ahead and get started? A couple of talking points. Like, why is down payment assistance important, and how is it beneficial to somebody out there that's maybe having early thoughts about purchasing a home?
Yeah. I mean, anybody can benefit from it. So, one of the things that I feel like there's a misconception with down payment assistance program is the majority of the programs historically were on a larger scale, right? They're either city
Mhm.
programs, they're county programs, and a lot of them are with shared appreciations,
Right.
right? Or you need to occupy the home for a certain amount of years, or it's hard to qualify for that program. So there's a lot of misconception about how the program works, and people just don't know about them, right? And I think a lot of it, regardless of social media, the lack of information that's out there, um, it's not enough, right? And the information that is out there, it's not the correct information as well. So one of the things that I always tell people is just, make sure you do your homework, research where you're getting that information. What are those resources that are telling you what you need to do for down payment assistance programs? But they're absolutely out there for everyone to be able to participate. And like I mentioned earlier, a lot of them are really based on county or cities. And then we also have, which we'll talk about today primarily, which is one of my favorite, it's the down payment assistance program that it's through the whole state of California,
Yeah.
right? So those are like unlimited funds right now that you have. It's an easier qualification, it's easier to obtain, and you can, the majority of people could qualify. As long as you're a first time buyer, you could qualify for state programs.
Very important, something you just mentioned. As long as you're a first-time buyer, there's a big misconception and maybe not clarity in regards to like the public on what that means. Why don't you elaborate a little bit on what would qualify you as a first-time buyer, particularly with this program?
Yeah, absolutely. So a first time buyer, it's anyone that has not owned a home in the last 3 years. Okay. So if you have owned a home in the last 3 years, you're no longer qualified as a first time buyer. A big question that comes up all the time is, well, what if I co signed with my brother? Or what if I'm entitled with my parents' home, right? If What if I inherit a property or I'm in somebody's living trust? So those are the majority of the common questions when it comes to occupancy. And the answer to that is very simple, right? When we say you could not have owned or occupied a home in the last 3 years, doesn't necessarily mean that you could not have been on title, because especially, in the Latino community, a lot of people are adding their kids or family members to title for the protection of their assets. If that is your scenario, what could happen is that as long as you prove to us that you have not lived in the home in the last 3 years and that you're paying your rent somewhere else, and that means proof to us, like your taxes don't show that address, your pay stubs don't show the address, nothing shows the address that you're on title, then there is exceptions that you could qualify as a first-time buyer. Okay, so it's case to case. Just kind of reach out to us. We'll let you know and guide you what that means. But overall, 3 years, it's the key point, right? So if you had a home 10 years ago and you want to participate now, that's okay, because you have not owned the home the last 3 years.
Yeah, essentially that would give you the green light to take advantage of these programs.
Yeah. And kind of a little bit to cap on that, a lot of times people always also hear some programs do have not just the 3 years minimum qualification, but also they have the first generation qualification in these programs. So it's really important to read the fine print of each program, because it's just not first time buyer. You tend to miss first time buyer, you miss first generation, you also miss income qualification. So it's really important to know, do I fit within those guidelines, right?
Right. And that's what we always encourage them. If you're having early thoughts about purchasing a home, reach out to us, because not only, is there a one size fits all, there's different programs available, but we'd like to see, based off of your scenario, income, debts, credit, whether you're first generation, whether you're a first time buyer, like there could be a program out there that could suit you.
Correct. Yeah. And it's really important to know, like, not every program fits every person. When you're browsing online, a lot of the guidelines are going to tell you, first time buyer, first generation, you must live in the city to obtain the program at this city. So something to watch out for. LA County probably has down payment assistance program for certain zip codes, right? You must meet a certain income and you must meet a certain this. So there's like so many layers for those qualifications. My advice is to everyone, it's just consult the right people. Just make sure you end up with the right team that they can advise you and actually guide you properly.
Correct. And that's one thing that we emphasize really well. We're all about education. We're all about educating the consumer on what their options are. Number one, what could suit them best and how they can take advantage of these programs that are funded by the state.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, state funding, from city funding to county programs, they're all very different. And also to another one that's very different, it's nonprofits, right? There's a lot of down payment assistance programs that are coming from nonprofit organizations that you also have to be careful with, because they're limited funds. They're selected very different depending on what the board have agreed when it comes to accepting these applications. There's deadlines for them. They're very different deadlines. They're very different criteria. NHS being one that, helps a lot of families get into homes. The most recent one, Green Line, it's another one that's a very hot, nonprofit organization that's giving funding to homeowners. So you really have to be careful and read the fine prints. And then a lot of them run out of money too, right? They run out of money. They only have enough money for 100 families. Some of these nonprofits only have enough money for like 25 families per year.
Right.
So you're Googling and you're looking at all these down payment assistance programs. You're like, oh, you know what, Luz, I qualify for this one. I fit all the criteria. You're like, great, let's apply. It's you plus 1,000 people applying for, only 25 families are going to receive that money. So you can wait over a year and not have the funding available. So which one is the right one for you? It's really going to be depending on your needs. I mean, sometimes you have to wait. There's no other way for you to become a homeowner but to wait that waiting period of a year to find out whether you're elected or not to receive additional funding. All right.
Yeah.
But if you're in a rush, you have a deadline, you need to get out of your home, then there's other resources of down payment assistance programs are available the moment you apply with us.
Yeah. And sometimes it does take that patience game. Like right now we have a mutual client that we're both helping. get into a home, and they applied last year for a very popular program, and they're able to take advantage of it now. So it's just about positioning yourself in the right vehicle. That way, eventually, when your opportunity does come, you're able to take advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, so right now, I know there's a very popular program, especially through CalHFA. Why don't you go ahead and talk about the My Access program and how somebody can take advantage of that?
Yeah, that's a great program. And I don't think enough people know about it, right? And I don't think enough people even know what really CalHFA does, or how does CalHFA help you get into a home a lot quicker. So I'm a preferred loan officer for the state of California for that program. And what that really means is we just fund a lot of these loans, right? So the lenders are in this list, participate on the program. They're big advocates, I want to say many ambassadors for CalHFA to talk about how these programs work. I'm kind of a little bit like Leon, who's always our speaker, a little biased about the program. There are a lot of programs, but this is one of my favorite ones. And why is it my favorite? And it's very straightforward. You navigate through their website. It's very simple to understand. It's not complicated. And it's really designed to help you push forward and get into a home quick without having the obligation of staying there for 5 years or 7 years like other programs. It also, it gives you the ability to own your own home and pay back the money you borrow at any time without any prepayment penalty. You're not sharing your appreciation with the state of California. So I want to make sure we're very transparent with that. A lot of people think the My Access and CalHFA program, when you sell, you need to give them back the money plus your equity. That is not true.
Right.
And the funds are available and the income limits are very reasonable. So for LA County, if you're making under $4,000 a year, you're eligible for the program. Another great advantage is the credit score. If you're, 640 credit score, you're eligible for the program. First-time buyers, income limitations are phenomenal. Credit score, it's very easy to reach on an FHA. And then the most important part, the rates are amazing. They're like top of line, one of the best rates out there in the market, especially with today's economy. Sometimes rates change 3 times a day. Using a CalHFA program, you don't have to worry about locking your loan in the afternoon, in the morning. The rates are the same throughout the day. It's a very transparent program. On their website, you can also search on the CalHFA historical rates where they have been the last week. So no one's going to tell you different rates. It's not going to matter whether you go with me or another lender. Shopping rates, it's not going to change. You're going to get whatever CalHFA said. So I love that. I love the transparency on that, especially for the consumer. It's really focused on consumer protection. So that's what, we love about the product. And use it. I always tell people, especially today's economy where you do have your 3% and your closing cost, right? You might have $30,000, $40,000, but getting into a home, it's expensive already. It's probably your largest purchase you've ever will have. And why would you want to put $40,000 of your investment into a home when CalHFA can provide 3 or up to 5% of assistance, right? Or if you do have your money, combine this program with it. And, we host these workshops all the time, Gio, with you. It's like a 45-minute seminar where people can learn more about this program. I just want to give you guys a little bit on it. But it is a great product for you to be able to obtain. And My Access, now you can actually access an additional 2.5% for your down payment in addition to what you currently have. So imagine that, right? You have your money. Then we add more money to that. Now you're able to qualify better for a higher price with the lower monthly mortgage payment and also a lower PMI, right? So now you have wins all around, which is going to help our first-time buyer get into homes a lot quicker.
And prime example with the client that we met with earlier this week, it was a case where he has the income, right? He makes sufficient money. Credit score is taken care of, but maybe doesn't have all the necessary savings. So it's when a program like this, taking advantage of down payment assistance, can give somebody the option where they thought it wasn't a possibility so soon. Instead of waiting for a year or two, they're able to take advantage of the market now and purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, and that's really a lot of people, right? Things happen, you're saving for something and then something breaks down and you have to now make a big investment and fix something, or an emergency. Now you need to use your funding. So people save, but at the same time, things happen and you need to spend the money that you save for your house. And this program is just going to help you get there quicker. That's what I always tell people. Like, look, the least you can do is just run an exercise, start building the muscle as a first-time buyer, right? Because you're not going to become a homeowner overnight unless you start exercising. Like, what does that process look like? Who can help me? What team am I going to hire to help me get through that process?
Mhm.
And what are the things that I need to do? And what are those things that I have to design already part of my plan in the next couple of years to become a homeowner, right? And I think that is the biggest fear with homeowners, is that they're afraid to ask the questions, or they're probably embarrassed, financially where they're at, or they're like, oh, I can't qualify because I have a gap in my job. I can't qualify because my credit's like this. It doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't. I tell everyone, just apply. It's an exercise, right? It's like, we've been trying. I mean, I don't know about you. You're Mr. Triathlon over here, but I've been trying to just run.
Yeah.
And it's an exercise every day that I'm just trying to build up slowly, right? Slowly.
Right.
And homeownership's the same way. It takes time, it takes practice, and who better than professionals that are in the business, that are in the game every day, who's talking to people and families and going through this exercise daily, that can advise you to go through that roadmap.
Absolutely. Kind of tying it into, what I like to do as a hobby with running and training. It's like, those are big feats. And like, let's say in this grand concept, the journey of begins with what? A single step. And that single step is having a conversation, applying, seeing where you're at, and kind of getting the ball rolling. Maybe you're in a position where you apply, and we've seen it, right? I want to say maybe 8 out of 10 applications that we get and we work together, it's like they're taking advantage of down payment assistance, whether it's for down payment, closing costs, operations too, but they're accessing state funds, county funds that are there to be able to help them get a little assistance.
Yeah, and keep in mind, this is a loan, right? It's not a grant. This program with the state of California could be combined with other grant programs, as long as it's free money and there's no lien. I'll give you an example. City of Long Beach has their grant program that it's going to end in September of this year. If you live in Long Beach and if you want to try to get $25,000, then you could try to access that money. In addition to that, we can add in the state of California's down payment assistance program. So now you have more money than what you really expected. So anytime you hear the word grant, it's always worth applying for it as early as you can, right? Even if if you have a lot of debt and you're only qualified for $300,000, or you're still paying off credit cards, get your pre-approval from us, submit your application. If you get lucky and you get a grant, then 6 months later, your financial situation may be different. You might have less debt. You might have a new job, but now you have the money with you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's going to help you. So don't wait around. Just submit those applications, because they do have a waiting period, and they're only granted, either 2 times or 3 times a year.
And you did mention something that I'd like you to elaborate on, especially like in the grand scheme of down payment assistance. Grants, obviously free money. Down payment assistance are loans. Can you talk about how that works, how that affects them in the long term, and then, like, let's say what that could look like from within their monthly payment and so on and so forth?
Yeah. So they're very different depending on where we get the money, right? So I want to talk about CalHFA.
Yeah.
So CalHFA is a loan. So if you borrow $20,000 as a down payment assistance, you can use that money towards down payment or closing costs. So you can combine it. So just so people know, you can combine that program. It is a loan at 1% simple interest.
Okay.
Meaning that per year, those $20,000 will accrue $200 per year. So what I tell my clients is pay the $200 so the balance doesn't increase. Okay. It is a deferred loan, so you're not repaying back on your monthly payment that money.
Mm-hmm.
There's no calculation on that repayment in your debt to income ratio to qualify. The time that you have to pay back that loan is when you refinance or when you sell the home.
Right.
On average, based on my experience with CalHFA, my clients are staying with that mortgage anywhere from 3 to 4 years,
Mhm.
and then you're paying back that loan. And that's the way CalHFA continues to exist, right? To recycle money, it continues to fund future generations. So you pay your money, it goes in that bucket. There's enough money to fund the next homeowner. So there's no prepayment penalty. You can pay it off anytime. Just recently, I gave a client example. I said it's like a credit card that's not due until next year. Just take it. It's free money. So why not? Why not access $30,000 or $20,000, right? So it does have loan limits, depending on the county you're going to be buying.
Mhm.
Every single county has income limitations and also loan amount limits.
Correct. So obviously different income limitations towards LA County, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and this is all over state of California, right?
Mhm.
So if you're anywhere in California, you're listening to this, we can share the website with you guys. If you guys want to send us your email, we can share the website and more information. And then also to a link to where you can join us to a seminar that's specific just on down payment assistance program.
Correct. So if anybody watching this has questions on those and would like the link to those webinars, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to DM it to you. Okay, so how does somebody apply, and what do you expect during the process of applying for something like CalHFA?
Yeah. So I mean, the application is no different than a regular loan, right? We're going to we're going to check your credit. We're going to look at your income. For CalHFA specific, we're going to make sure that you don't exceed the income limitation.
Mhm.
Now, the income limitation, it's not where you live, but it's where you want to purchase. Okay. So if you look at LA County and you're making $200,000 and you see 194, you could buy in Orange County. Okay. So it's not where you live, but it's where you're buying. So just want to get that clear if anybody goes into their website. You apply with us, right? We have a secure website online that you can apply, and the list of documents are there. We're going to do the qualification based on your income and credit. We're going to ask the questions like, how much money do you have? How much money do you want to invest? How much money does the program provide to you? Once we narrow all that down, then we can talk a little bit more about options and financing, what benefits you the most, types of properties. So just note CalHFA, it's valid for single family, condo, townhome, and manufactured. And it also accepts houses with an ADU. It does not apply for a duplex. For a duplex, we have a GSFA program, which is a platinum program. That can be another IG Life. That's specifically for units. So different programs are going to have different eligibility. So this is why you need to consult with someone that has experience in dealing with down payment assistance program. It's a very specific niche, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're not going to go buy a Porsche at a Kia dealership. It's like completely two different products. So I think just in financing two products, it's very important. It's very important to work with a team that has the knowledge of how this product works, not just from the lending perspective, but also from the realtor perspective, right? When you're presenting offers, the listing agent's request is how they're getting the money, and explaining and navigating through where we have a record of closing various transactions this route. It helps navigate through that process. It also helps us explain that process to the listing agent, that it's no different. The timeframes are the same, so you don't have to wait with CalHFA. It's no different. It's like a regular loan process, so we can close an escrow in 21 days if needed.
Absolutely. It's almost a skill set to possess, having the knowledge and knowing how to manage these programs, knowing how to apply, and on our side as real estate agents, making sure that your offer is just as strong with or without down payment assistance, because we're able to package it in a strong and efficient manner. And that's why I really enjoy working with you and your team, because you're able to help us have that confidence, because we know that once you give us a pre-approval, they're fully vetted. Everything is good to go.
And we go an extra mile. I mean, we don't want clients to shop around with just a regular pre-approval letter. We want clients to shop with an actual approval letter from the underwriter. Correct. We want to make sure that we're not going to have any challenges with the loan at all. that the only things that will come up, if any, right, it's going to be pertaining the collateral, which is home inspections or anything with to do with the property that's out of our control, your control. But nothing that we can control, like the loan part, should ever be, in a doubt at all for the consumer. The consumer should be shopping for a home, knowing that they're going to obtain that home loan.
Absolutely. We pride ourselves on opening an escrow and closing an escrow.
Absolutely. Yes. Especially, for a first-time buyer, it's a big step, right? And they go through like excitement and nervousness and excitement and nervous, like, is this the right thing to do? What if I can? And there's all these doubts are coming. So if there's already that challenge of doubt, then, the least we can do as they're, the people that they hire, it's to give them that peace of mind that we're taking care of what we could take care of, right? So we'll only do things that's in our control. And I think that's a really, something really important that consumers should know when they're looking to partner up with a lender and an agent.
Yeah. And all about empowerment through education, giving you crystal clarity on what to expect throughout the process, what your numbers look like, how they affect you, what are the pros, what are the cons, so on and so forth.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, there's a lot to it, right? So this is why applying, going through the process, going through the consultation, we always welcome our clients, have 1, 2, 3, 4 conversations with us, make sure that before you go out there and look for a home, that you're really making the right choice, that you're working with the right team, ask away, that it's your job to do that when it's the largest purchase you're ever going to do. So if someone is not taking the time and walking you through the process and explaining to you the options you have and the benefits you have as a first-time buyer, then just walk away. Walk away. Same thing for a real estate professional. This is why we choose to team up with you guys, because you guys do a phenomenal job in education. You're constantly hosting workshops. You're, providing this type of information to our consumers. There's not enough of it, right?
Yeah.
There just isn't. So I think those are the key things that are really important. And, using this time in June, we're going to be having a really huge homeownership summit in the city of Downey that, if we'll give the information over to the Millennial team that they can share with you. And, our goal is to have different agencies present there to talk about options and down payment assistance.
Absolutely. More to come on that. Stay tuned on our portals we'll be posting that information as soon as it's available, because that will be an event that you will not want to miss.
Yes, absolutely.
I do want to touch on success stories as well, because a big misconception is I'm not ready now, so I'm not even going to apply. But we've had cases. I remember one of the first clients that you and I had the privilege of working together. They must have been talking with our team and you guys for a little over 2 years before they actually got into their home. And throughout that entire process, constant check-ins, giving them a plan, a roadmap. Okay, are you doing this? How's your credit? Improving job, graduating from school, and like a lot of things that we're almost hand-holding you through the process, making sure that you're doing what's necessary so you can have that comfort. And eventually, no better feeling than to be able to hand the keys to their home, because people out there are coachable and are willing to do the things that we're recommending.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important. That's a really big key point, Gio, is that, it's not an overnight thing, like you just mentioned, right? It's really not. It's, we wish, for the sake of, our business, that people walk in and buy homes every day. But the reality is there's, a lot of things that are for us, and there's a lot of things that are against us, like inventory, right? In LA, regardless of how the market is, regardless of the economy, we lack inventory. There's more buyers than there are homes. That's just the truth. Right, we're living in a very dense community. So the earlier you get in with us, the better you're going to be prepared to negotiate, right? And it is that way, right? It does take time, and we've helped people from 2 years, 5 years. I think my longest client was nurtured for 5 years before he bought his home, and he came back every year. A little step closer, Luz. I'm a little step closer. I'm a little step closer, and we work with their timeline, right? Sometimes they're ready and things happen and they can't, so they have to come back a year later, right? So it's about really looking at the overall picture and seeing that the potential is there. That it's just a matter of fixing little things, right? Adding little things to that and seeing the opportunity where you can become a homeowner. Like the last couple of years, I'm sure you guys heard the Dream for All program was a really big opportunity for clients. And because a lot of people weren't in my database, they already had inquired about programs. They were the first runners who got the information. And the first year, it was crazy because it was first come, first serve. And yes, the money went out
Gone.
less
Yeah.
than 10 days, I think
Mhm.
8 days in general. And the money was gone, right? And who benefit from that was the people that were in our database, the people that were already in our ecosystem that we've been nurturing and advising them about programs that are going to be launched. The second year around, it was a selected system, right? It was like a lottery. I don't want to call it lottery because it's not free money, but it was a selected system that if you entered and there was deadlines, you were lucky enough to get 20%, right? Until today, I still have people calling me about, is the Dream for All program still there? And our answer is no. Is it coming back? We don't know, but here's other programs which they didn't know about, right? So it's definitely, our goal for us is to, like you said, hear those success stories, knowing that we're helping someone. This is my 25th year in financing, and it's a big milestone year for a company. We take a lot of pride in what we do, and hopefully, first help God first that we can actually continue to be able to work through families and help them accomplish this homeownership dream of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And on that note, if you're out there, you're curious about what it takes to get into the home, you'd like to have a conversation with myself and Luz, get in contact with us. We'd love to do a consultation, whether it's via Zoom, in person at our office, but we're here to help educate you guys, get you a plan. And on that note, with the Dream for All program that came, it's best to be ready for an opportunity and not necessarily need it, than need an opportunity and not be ready for it. So that's what
Absolutely.
we say. Apply, get yourself the information, and at least get the ball rolling.
Yeah, because we don't get anything and say, well, I can't or I don't know, right? So taking those steps and just finding out, okay, now you have a roadmap, and our goal is to help you get there. Really, there's really nothing that's impossible unless you set your mind to it. And I'm a big believer in that. And I push my clients every day. It's like the moment's gonna come, guys. Like, just wait. Let's keep going. And it doesn't matter. We get, for us, our clients, we're all worth it, right? We always tell them, just keep calling, keep checking in. We're gonna check in with you, check in with us. You're not a number, you're a person, and we want to help you. And I think that's really important for us.
Yeah. Definitely relationship over transaction. And I think as people get to know us and as they see how we work, they feel and sense that 100%.
Yeah. And this is, it's not overnight that we're gonna reach success, right? It takes a long time, and we're there with you. So that's really important to know.
Absolutely. So once again, if you're on the other side of this video watching, send us your questions, reach out to us for more. We'd love to get the conversation going and seeing how we can help you get you the information or take advantage of one of these programs that Luz is mentioning today.
Yeah. So you can follow us on our Instagram page with our business, or my personal. It's at Luz Uncourt. In that bio, there's an application there and all the steps that you need to take to apply for a home loan under CalHFA as well.
Thank you so much, Luz. As always, a pleasure. Thank you for providing value to our community. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Luz.
Yes, absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.